everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Huck. Today we are doing a spoiler-free review for Son of the Shadows by Juliet Marillier. This is the second book in her Sevenwaters series, which is a historical fantasy series set in ancient Ireland, following the family of Sevenwaters. I have a very long spoiler-filled vlog that is going up at the same time as this review. So if you have read the book, you want spoilers, you want to hear me ramble about it, see my reactions, I will link that in the description. But if you want a spoiler-free review, that's what we're doing. So in this, we are following our main character, Liadin, who is the daughter of Sorcha and Red from the first book. So we're following the same family, they're recurring characters, but we're on to the next generation of the family of Sevenwaters. Liadin has an older sister named Neve, who is very impulsive and very beautiful, and then she also has a twin brother named Sean, who is the heir to Sevenwaters. Liadin is very close with her parents. Everyone compares her to Sorcha and how similar they are. She looks very much like Sorcha, but I personally think she actually has a little bit more of her dad's personality to her. She loves Sevenwaters very much and really wants nothing more than to take care of her family and Sevenwaters. But that goes awry when she is kidnapped off the road by a band of mercenaries called the Painted Men, because one of their band has been injured and she is well known as a great healer in the area, and they want her to save him. It is a very difficult situation. She also meets the leader of this band of mercenaries, who immediately takes a disliking to her, but she is determined to try and save this injured man. And from there, she gets more involved with this band of mercenaries, with the leader, with the and learns more about kind of what's going on in the world around her outside of this little like bubble of Sevenwaters that she has lived in. We also get to learn more about a prophecy that was mentioned, it was kind of hinted at in the first book, but it really comes back stronger in this second book, showing that this prophecy is going to be that through line throughout the series, connecting these different books to each other. Even though each book is kind of a standalone, there is this through line of this prophecy surrounding these islands of spiritual significance. No surprise, I loved rereading this. You know, this is one of my favorite authors, one of my favorite series. I think of the series, this one always feels the most romance-centric. It has a kind of hate to love type of romance in it, which I feel like is done fairly well. The love interest in this, I will say, does start out fairly like misogynist, and I do think that he grows over the course of the story, although I could have done with a stronger character arc for him. The change that he goes through does feel genuine for his character, but I think that it could have been a more like deeply authentic change if it was not treated so much as like her being a single exception. However, I still really enjoy their dynamic. I don't know what I would think of him and their dynamic if I was reading this for the first time. Maybe I would be less tolerant of it, but we'll never know because I have reread this series so many times and I love them so much. But I really liked Liadin as a main character. I think that she feels more active in this story than Sorcha felt in her story. I think a lot of that has to do with just the fact of the type of challenges that they come across. Sorcha's was very much a challenge of endurance, and in a lot of ways it felt like things just kind of happened to her, which she then had to endure. Whereas in this, Liadin has a less distinct task that she is doing, but she does come up against a lot of challenges, and she has much more of a personality of like, I am going to fight for what I want, I am going to fight to protect the people that I love, and I'm going to fight to make things right, which I really liked about her. And when I say fight, I don't mean like literal physical fighting. We do get more visits from like the Lady of the Forest. We also get to learn more about the old ones, who are these kind of other magical people that I don't know if they came up in the first book actually, but they do come up in this one, and we get to learn a little bit more about them. And I think that Leodin is more critical of the Lady of the Forest than Sarka was. I think Sarka much more saw her as a benefactor, and Leodin sees her more as opponent isn't right, but more as another like obstacle for her, or someone trying to control her. There are also some new characters in this that, like, there's one character that I just hate so much, and if you watch the vlog, so much of it is just me being like, what is wrong with this guy? So that was frustrating but fun, I guess. Sometimes it's fun to have someone to hate. Also, the Painted Men, this like band of mercenaries that she lives with for a period of time, you just end up liking them so much. They are very like rough but lovable kind of characters. We get to learn about some of their tragic backstories, and some of them are very like just sweet people. So I enjoyed their characters a lot as well, and I think they really add to the book, add to, you know, just like the number of characters that you can get attached to. I think even just from the first book, you can see a jump in quality of like pacing and how characters are introduced in this. I think the pacing for this is a lot better than the first one. That's kind of one of my main issues with the first book. As much as I love it, the pacing's a little weird, and I think that the pacing is much better in this one. But I also feel like even just in those first few pages, I was like, immediately you can just tell like the skill level of like introducing these characters, grounding us in what has happened since the first book. It just like gives you the information so well and clearly and succinctly, of like painting these new characters that we are encountering, because this book does take place, is it like 19 years after the first book, so there is some catching up to do, but I think that it was accomplished very well. Overall, I really loved rereading this. I think once again I may have a more like objective rating versus personal rating. Like personal rating, once again, 5 out of 5 stars. It just is what it is. I might give a more objective rating of like a 4.5, just because I could have done with a little bit more from the love interest's character arc to make it feel like a fuller, more like authentic growth and change for him. But overall, I really loved this. I would love to know if you're planning to read this book. Please talk to me about it in the comments, but thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye.